When you thought it was over, we started it over. Just a different chapter, but still part of the story. Spirit of a patriot, but the heart of a soldier. If you wasn't part of the grind, you can't be part of the glory. We right here, we ain't going nowhere. It's your worst nightmare. We back and they all scared. Every year is our year. The defense is top tier. Whenever you see that red and blue, it's a new era. They too scared of us. I don't know who said it was over, but they lied. The truth never miss. Kicking down the door like who let him in. We been grinding and we ain't worried about the small talk. We big timers.
Yeah, can't believe it. We ain't leaving. Yeah, we achieving. Can't be beaten. Oh, say it loud, say it proud from the top of my lungs. Hometown, take a crown. You ain't trying with us. Around this time, you really can't deny. You can't run, you can't hide when the Patriot comes.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Patriots Friday Night Lights podcast. How are we doing?
Let's get it. Let's get it. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. There hasn't really been a lot going on. Joe Milton got traded, but who really cares?
I just don't know why, so much drama around it.
Who cares? He's a third stringer who played against backups. Who cares?
That's my whole thing. I was hearing some things all right, they could have got more for him, but they traded him where he wanted to go. That doesn't even make sense because regardless of what people think about Dak Prescott, I think he's a good quarterback. Not every quarterback can win in the playoffs. So,
yeah,
I don't think Dallas is moving off of him no time soon. And realistically, I guess they were saying that, he felt like he should be the starter, whatever the case may be. Now, that right there, he should have known that was a pipe dream. You were brought in with the third pick in the draft.
Right. I don't know why.
It's not like he's struggling.
Yeah, I don't know why Joe Milton wanted to go there. I was hoping that he'd go somewhere that would he'd be able to compete. He's not going to compete now. Not with $60 million a year, on Dak. There's no way.
He felt like he should have been the starter. From what I'm hearing, if that's what he thought, that he was going to be the starter on the Patriots over Drake May,
right?
Yeah, goodbye. You know what I mean? It's just dude, you had one good game, and I feel like it's people like Colin Cowherd that fueled that, because the moment Joe Milton came in and did that, because he was already trying to say early in the season, he felt like Joe Milton was going to beat Drake May out for the job. I guess he was trying to come up with some type of stupid-ass hot take, and if that somehow the universe flipped over backwards on his head and everything else that ended up happening, Colin Cowherd would have been right in that game versus the Bills. He put, a star's been born. Bro.
Joe Milton has a massive arm. That's literally it.
That's it. You got what? He had 37 passing touchdowns in college, and 20 of them came his last year after him spending 6 years in college.
Yeah, he played 30 interceptions too. This final year, he was 15 and 11 or something like that. In college, that's terrible.
That's what I'm saying. It's dude, 37 touchdowns over a 6-year college career
is horrible. It's just Anthony Richardson all over again, except Anthony Richardson went to a bigger school.
I think Drake did that in a single season, honestly.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did
it somewhere around 31, 32, definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure he did that multiple times. I don't know. I don't care. I wish we didn't have to give up a seventh on top of the fifth. So then it's basically just getting a sixth.
And then it was a compensatory pick too. It's a compensatory pick.
Right.
So it's basically a 6th-round pick. But if they could have gotten more, I don't know how hot that take is, but if that's true, then they did a disinjustice to the team. For one player that we clearly, like I said, the Patriots just handled that situation wrong, just like I had retweeted. For one, when was he supposed to see the field? Like I said, he was brought in the same draft class as the number 3 pick in the draft, and we all knew, as no ifs, ands, or buts about it, Drake May was going to be the franchise of the for the foreseeable future for the Patriots, unless something happened where he just wasn't good enough. So what did the Patriots expect by you only going to put one game on film and then think that, people's going to come with this haul for him? No, it's like you didn't put enough on film. And like I said, he wasn't going to get enough on film just because of the draft class that he brought in. And on top of that, it was just pointless to ever even like bring the guy here.
Yeah, people were talking about like a third rounder. That's just sounded crazy to me. He couldn't beat out Jacoby Brissett to get second string. Like he's not gonna. We're not getting a fourth or a third round pick. Like that just a fifth like made sense, but giving up the seventh is a little weird. But I feel like getting a fifth was more than enough.
Because that game that he played, it was like absolutely like no game planning involved in that game. Like you just saw it. You know, it was like a preseason game, and last game of the year. And, hey guys, go out there and do what you do. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
it wasn't like
no
nobody ever
nothing.
Yeah, because it's like obviously he got to the NFL, so I'm pretty sure if you put him on the field with certain guys that are not at the top of the roster and everything else, and the game plan is not as stringent and he has to follow a script and leading up to play things like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we would see some spectacular things from him. Like it would just happen because his athleticism is going to be on display. But as I said, that game versus the Bills, I did not weigh it out at all. I didn't think it was a Jimmy Garoppolo situation because Jimmy Garoppolo only played 2-3 games, and
that was against Stars at least.
Yeah, and that was enough for people to see like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we want this guy because up until he got hurt, what was it against Miami? I think it was he got hurt. Yeah, he was balling.
Yeah, with the thumb.
He came out versus the Cardinals. Whooped their ass. And what the Cardinals coming out of the NFC Championship that season too, right? They were coming off an NFC Championship appearance, I think, when they got slapped by the Carolina Panthers. Yep, the Panthers no. Yeah, the Panthers beat the hell out of them in the NFC Championship. That's when Carolina ended up going on to play Denver, because that was 2016 season, right? When Garoppolo
15-16. Yeah.
So Arizona was coming off an NFC Championship appearance, but Joe Milton, like I said, like I just don't understand why. Like, are we at the era where everything that happens we just have to, make a big deal, blow up about it?
It's because of the Mac Jones Zappy thing, right? With that, I think that's going to kind of be a residual within the media of just like, oh, we brought in the quarterback. Ooh, what's going to happen? Right, because we got years of Mac and Zappy or Mac and Cam Newton, right? It was just like years of just like an actual like potential quarterback battle, and I think it's just gonna take a while. I think if Drake just balls out, then it's over, right?
Yeah.
It's just like the whole thing. And then Joe Milton, he's just such an athletic freak. That's why everyone's kind of wanting to see him. It's just because he's big and strong, right? And he looked all right. So
see, with Zappy and Mac, I feel like now their storylines were a lot closer because, for one, Mac Jones was struggling. Two, I don't think people realized that Mac Jones had just broken, I think, the college football record that season for most passing yards in the season, and then Zappy broke it the following year afterward. So they had, I think Zappy threw for damn near 6,000 yards in one season. I think his last season.
He has the most in college football history, just like over a career, just the amount of yards.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like their thing, Zappy could have pushed Mac. Zappy, he had his moments. Like I said, I seen some plays where it was like, damn, that was a pretty good play. But
he definitely had his moments against, like the Denver game, right? He was lights out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that quarterback battle, it made sense, right? Because Mac was it was clear that he was just not the quarterback and he was just not good. Mm-hmm. And then Zappy played well in the limited snaps. But if you kept Zappy in for more than 2 games in a row, then it just fell apart.
Right.
So
Yeah, that game versus the Chiefs, it was like the Patriots our defense was playing lights out, and it's like Zappy just kept giving it back, kept
yeah,
kept giving it
right,
back. And it's like, damn,
right,
Zappy, like, and they were like wide open passes too.
right.
And the
Yeah,
thing with Matt, I don't even want to even get too far into this bum, bro. But like I always tell people, they say Bill ruined him and things like that. Listen, you just look at that rookie season. It's a good 7-game stretch. But then if we look at those last 4 games going into the playoffs,
yeah, it
and
was
then the 4 games ahead of him, those first 4 games ahead of it.
right. And coaching doesn't like the Colts game where it was going in for the game-winning touchdown, and
Right.
he threw the 5-yard route by 5 yards for an interception. Right. That's not coaching. That's just complete incompetency by
Exactly.
the player. But yeah,
He threw it across his body to DeRon Bland twice, like back to
Right.
back. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Please don't do that again. And then when he did it again, they made him pay for it. That's not coach. That's not the coaching doing that, because, like you said, he's throwing wide open interceptions sometimes. Like literally, I can go back and play for play. Even like the Colts game, that's one of them. But if I even dig even further, like all that season versus the Saints, like he was literally, like I told people, blame Bill all you want or blame the roster. Listen, Mac Jones was literally giving up points because he was putting it on the ground. It was being picked up, taken back for a touchdown. He's putting it in people's hands for interception, going back for touchdowns. Like I think he got picked 6 like 3 weeks in a row.
Yep, I'm sure he did. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But here, let's get to the modern Patriots here. We don't need to go over this anymore.
Wait, is he a free agent or did he sign anywhere?
49ers. He's back to the team that wanted to draft him. I mean, they got to pay Brock.
I don't even want to hear that. Like, it's probably gonna heat up going into training camp. I hope like hell it doesn't, because it's like you brought the 15th overall pick and to be the backup to Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the draft.
Right. Yeah. That's just
Screw Joe Milton. He's the reason we don't got the number 1 pick right now, and we freaking.
That's the other thing. Like
together. we rubbing our thumbs together, trying to figure out what we're gonna get at 4th. So
yeah,
Joe Milton, you, Gerard Mayo, everybody that conspired to do what they did.
But speaking of that 4th pick, right, Colorado, they had their pro day today, and it looked like Travis Hunter worked out as a receiver today. It's kind of interesting. Because right out of the top 4, who would need him as a full-time receiver the most? It would probably be us.
Well, yeah, us. But I can't I know Albert Breer saying that it's looking more and more like we're not gonna get Carter or Hunter, but I find that hard to believe when it's like literally Cleveland and New York. You guys have no quarterback. Like, and not to mention both coaching staffs probably should be on the hot seat. Is it like you understand what I'm saying? Like, are you guys just afforded to bypass a quarterback right there and think that, all right, well, yeah, we can get one in the 2nd round or whatever the case may be?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because I feel like one of them has to take Shador. They have to.
Yeah, I can't imagine he falls past Cleveland or the Giants. I don't see that being a possibility. Like Cam Moore to the Titans, that's guaranteed. Everyone knows that's what's going to happen. Shedeur Sanders has to go with either of those guys, and lately it seems like it's more the Browns, but I think it's going to be the Giants. It seems like that's just been written in stone since college football ended.
So do you think one of them are looking at it like, okay, let's see who the Titans pick at 1. Let's say they go Cam Ward. And then right after they pick Cam Ward, do you think one of them picks up the phone and call for Will Levis? Because it's a habit in the NFL of people thinking that, well, maybe I can fix this problem, because by all accounts, Will Levis has the arm, like he has the athletic ability to play.
Mm.
But we see some good moments, but we also seen the dumb moments. That's like, yeah, no wonder why you're on the Mayo commercial type moments.
Yeah, maybe the big thing that kind of freaks me out is the Giants got Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston.
But their
So
coaching
that makes
staff's
me
on the hot seat. You can't
like,
put you're putting your future in them. You might as well just quit your
that's the
job
thing.
now.
It's like there's no way they do. Like there's no way they don't get Sanders. But like, why would you sign both of those guys and get Shedeur Sanders? Like, why make him a third string to like start off, or like make Jameis Winston the third string?
Maybe
Like, why is Jameis Winston a third string?
Maybe that's what he needs because, like I said, I like Shedeur, but being that like he's not setting it on fire right now, and it's looking like to come in as a superstar. So if you could come in behind two veterans, and that'll humble them a little bit, for one, and two, you're not being anointed anything. If he's really that good, he should have no problem climbing his way to the top of the roster. So him coming in being the third string quarterback, if you're that good, it's not going to matter that much to you because at some point you're going to get a chance to play. Or two, both these quarterbacks is only here on 1-year deals anyway. So
right.
these guys are like long-term, no type of threat to you. They're no type of threat to you now. Like they would just be there, honestly, to be mentors.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, true. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't see Cleveland passing.
Somebody's going to try to take Levis to see if they can get something out of him.
I don't think Cleveland would do that though. I don't think Cleveland's in a position to like want to take that risk. Right, like there's no way they think that they're set up to be successful for someone like a Will Levis who's struggled in the NFL.
They got to do something because the owner already admitted while Deshaun Watson is even still on that roster, they took a big swing and missed. Even though it's obvious, but to hear that from his mouth, that lets you know, like, obviously we already knew, like, his time in Cleveland's all but done, and it was just –
it's just the contract. They're just waiting it out at this point.
Yeah, but now it's like, okay, Cleveland, what do you do? Now, if you told me they were, all right, comfortable with picking a player there and they felt like Jalen Milroe or somebody's going to be there at the second round and they're going to take him and develop him, that makes sense. Because like I said, if you really look at it, Milroe has the highest upside out of all of them because he has all the tools and mechanics. He just has to be refined and
right,
up and turned into an actual quarterback. Says speed, all that, like every measurable trait, all of that, like he has it. But same thing that Josh Allen had to go through. Anthony Richardson don't really look like it's working out. I feel like that's what's eating Milroe up is the Richardson.
Right.
Richardson
with
project.
The Browns, I don't see them. I think what's more likely, instead of going for Will Levis, I see them looking for someone who wants Shedeur, trading down, and then getting like a Milroe or a Jackson Dart or something like that. Like I see them going for a quarterback because they need something, but I can definitely see them trading out because I think Jalen Milroe and Jackson Dart, right? They'll be fine.
I think
stuck again.
I think Cleveland. Because now that I look at it, maybe not the Giants that probably wouldn't do this because it would get really crowded and awkward in that room. But Kirk Cousins is still a wild card here because unless the Falcons is comfortable playing the 2025 season out with a $100 million quarterback on the bench, you would have to think that one of those teams at the top of the draft, maybe the Falcons are waiting it out to see how they play it. And then once they didn't get a quarterback, let's try to dangle this in their face to see if maybe we can get a second or third for Kurt out of this because you really get nothing out of it now, trading him this early now, unless somebody's willing to give you that high of a pick for him. Right now, the Giants, like I said, I can't see Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, and Jameis Winston all being in the same quarterback room. Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
I can see it because he doesn't have to come in and fight for a spot against anybody. And if I'm not mistaken, Stefanski was his offensive coordinator in Minnesota, right?
Yes, that sounds right.
So
Yeah,
and
it's
if
tough
they're
because
able
do you really want to like are the Browns planning on sucking next year and trying to get a quarterback in a better class next year, or are they just gonna take the risk on Shador because they don't want to have a top pick like this ever again?
that's the question. Like, how comfortable is that coaching staff?
Yeah, unless
That,
they're able
that,
to.
that would it all come down to is how comfortable is the front office and how comfortable is the coaching staff, because common sense says they need a quarterback, and not to mention just to kind of skip here, I just thought about it. Geno Smith just signed an extension with the Raiders for 2 years, $85 million.
Mm-hmm.
So the likelihood of Shador maybe landing there probably least likely now too. So Shador Sanders really only have a few places where he can go.
Right.
If he starts to fall, maybe he falls to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's like them, the Saints. Who else? Who else would? That's kind of it, right? I mean, who else?
That's what I'm saying. Not a lot of teams need or let me put it like this: does it look like a lot of teams need quarterbacks right now because a lot of them have gotten them recently? And a lot of these guys are young. Like I said, you look at the AFC crowd; it's a lot of young guys over there.
Right.
A lot of young guys that's supposed to be waiting in the range. The only team that may not have their future quarterback yet is probably the Jets, because we don't know what Justin Fields is going to look like there. But if he looks like anything,
True. Yeah.
It's been trash. Miami's pretty set where they're at. Obviously, we're set. The Bills are set. You look up in the north, Bengals set, Ravens set, Pittsburgh, they need to get right. Cleveland, they need to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then you look over in the west, Chargers are set.
Yeah,
Chiefs
they're all good. Yeah.
Raiders look like they're set.
So the Browns may just be looking at either you get Shador or you get Travis or Abdul, and you don't trade because there's no one really out there. It's just them, the Saints, right?
Yeah.
It's just not a lot to. It's kind of like where we're at, right? Like if one of those quarterbacks are out or available, I don't think we're going to be able to trade.
Honestly, take Campbell. Honestly, just take Campbell. As we were talking about it last week, even with the whole Travis Hunter thing, as much as I love Travis Hunter, if the message is we're trying to build this team out and really build it out, the best thing you can do, Stephon Diggs was good, but that's not the best you could have did for Drake May. Now, the best thing that they can show us that we haven't seen in a long time with the Patriots, provide the quarterback with as many resources as possible. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Provide the quarterback with as many resources as possible. Even if Hunter's there, that makes that fourth pick very, very, very attractive. Carter's there, it makes it attractive. Because guess what? Likely the team that you're going to trade with, they got a bad record already anyway, so you might be moving back 2-3 spots, whatever the case may be. If they give you their first-round pick next year, they're probably going to be a bad team again next year. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, getting any type of another first, if we got another first-round pick,
and a better draft,
almost a no-brainer.
And next year is supposed to be a loaded draft. And the one after that's supposed to be a loaded draft.
And we should have less holes to fill then, so it's going to be even more of a targeted draft. Like this year, it's do we get a tackle? Do we get a receiver? Defense, we don't really fully understand. Do we get a tight end? Do we get a running back? There's so many holes that we have to fill. Next year, if we have 2 first-round picks and less holes to fill, that puts us in a much better spot.
Yeah,
and Will Campbell's the guy. That's incredible. Not a lot of teams have that surefire left tackle.
And imagine the team you trade with just so happened to be in that top 4, top 5 range, where there's good quarterback on the board. Because if Drew Aller develops this year coming up too, him, and if Arch Manning come in, those are going to be hot names just right off the rip. Just Drew Aller, just off the prototype size of him and, the arm strength and everything. He has a lot more that he has to clean up. But, so if he comes out on fire this year, like the Patriots could be in a spot, in a position where, yeah, we got a team's freaking high pick that we technically don't even need right now. So you can trade that and end up with another pick in the next year's draft. That's how Philly did it. Philly had 3 first-round picks. They traded one to the Saints the one time. The Saints made 2 picks in the first, and then the next year, it's history. And all that started from, I think that was the Miami and 49ers trade. Whose pick was it? I think, yeah, they had the Miami Dolphins, and I think they had the 49ers first-round pick for Hargrave. And who did they send over to the Dolphins? I know they had a first-round pick from the Dolphins. Or the Dolphins traded up, I think, for Tua. No, they was already sitting.
No, they sat. Because it was between, like, Tua and Herbert at the time, and it was kind of figuring out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how Philly ended up with Miami's first-round pick. I'm trying to think who went from Philly.
Right.
Go ahead. I'm about to look it up. But go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I've been a Will Campbell guy since day one, so I would be excited to get him. I think this draft, just take what you can get. Like, I think Will Campbell is kind of what we want, but if like a Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter there, and people are offering another first-round pick, that's hard to not turn down. Especially Abdul Carter. Like, I know he's like fantastic and all, but with this offseason that we had, with getting all these defenders, why are we drafting another defender? Like, right. I don't think it makes sense for our team. Like, yeah, he's like, the best defender in the class, but I feel like that's not what we should be looking for. Like, we should be going offense. Like, definitely should be going offense, especially with Drake May. Right, we want to keep our offense young.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Philly did have the 6th pick in the 2021 draft, and they sent it to Miami.
No, it's for Tua?
Yep. They sent that pick to Miami. Philly.
Oh, okay. I thought they always had that pick. That's funny. Okay.
It says the Eagles acquired the Dolphins' first-round pick, number 12 overall in 2021, in a trade where they sent Dolphins their number 6 pick overall in the 2021 draft, along with 5th-round pick and a 4th-round pick.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, but like 2 first-round picks, and we can get a starting left tackle. Like, that just seems too perfect for it. Like, I don't know, this narrative of like not drafting for need, but drafting best player, I think it's gotten a little out of hand. Like, I think you should draft, a little bit of both, right? If he's the best lineman in college football, and that's your worst position group, I feel like it makes the most sense to get the Will Campbell.
I feel like he belongs here, just off the simple fact that from that younger crowd that you guys are bringing in on the offensive side of the ball, he has that attitude. Drake has that attitude.
And our receiving core is better, right? With Diggs, Booty's going to be better because he just came off a great season. Right. We still are going to figure out Polk and Baker. DeMar Douglas should have a big year with Josh McDaniels. So I think our receiver core is going to be better. And Drake's going to be a better quarterback because it's, the year 2 leap or whatever.
They hung in a lot of games too last year. Just the line was just sometimes the penalties, like even that game versus, I think,
that's the thing. The line is
in the red zone.
Right. The offensive line was by far the worst position group. So I think getting Campbell, it makes sense. It's not sexy, but I think it fits that, draft for need and draft best player.
Yep.
So,
and like I said, you did something for Drake. And even if you had to take Campbell, like I said, and bypass, because in a situation like that, that number 4 pick becomes attractive now because those 2 players are there. And if you just stand pat and look at it like, well, yeah, I like them both, but the same way how they're nitpicking on Will Campbell's arms, I can nitpick on both players. Did you see the video I sent you about Abdul Carter?
Yep.
how he's always on the ground, things like that. I can
Yep.
nitpick that, and you only played 1 full year on the edge. I can nitpick
That's the thing.
that.
I didn't realize he didn't really play edge before like this past
No,
year.
he was an off-ball linebacker. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I can nitpick that. Travis Hunter, as great of an athlete he is, like we need him to focus on one side of the ball. So even that could be a nitpicky type situation. Like, okay, well, he's definitely still going to need the development as a receiver and everything else, because it's like as good as he is, he's not a finished product. And we see it all the time in college. I think he's going to be great in the league, but we see it all the time in college where athleticism reigns supreme. So, that's a lot of why he can do some of the things that he could do. But like I said, being that going into the freaking pro day, now his arm is up to 33 inches, and I heard everybody's arms somehow shrunk going into the combine.
Right.
Like, I don't think, like, at the end of the day, like, is we really sitting here nitpicking, like, arm length. Like, I feel like this is, like, the first time, like, I've really even heard this being that much of a problem for a top prospect. For a guy that's not giving up sacks, but this is the narrative that comes up. So
yeah, I think the Skoronski pick kind of brought it to light, right? Because he came in long and short.
I hate when they do that. Every individual player is different, and schemes are different, and coaching is different. Whatever happened with Peter Skoronski over there in freaking in Tennessee, I don't think that's gonna happen to Will Campbell in New England, just off the simple fact of we have Josh McDaniels. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at Vrabel as the head coach, but we know what to expect with Josh McDaniels as the offensive coordinator. Very detail-oriented. And like I said, who else would you want to trust that offense in their hands? Where we're looking at some failed offensive coordinators, it's because they got fired as an offensive coordinator, and now they're trying to find a new home. No, Josh McDaniels just really couldn't make it as a head coach. But like I said, in my opinion, he went to the wrong place in the first place. And it's probably because he felt like that was the only other organization that was going to give him a chance to head coaching job again. But like I said, the Raiders had already had a whole mess on their plate before he even got there. And it was kind of like he tried to rewrite the ship, and, it didn't connect with the players or whatever the case may be. And it just didn't come out how it was supposed to. But as an offensive coordinator, the offense is in good hands. So take Campbell. You need him. Like I said, at first I'm, get the Abdul Carter. Take Campbell. Like it doesn't even need to be this hard, anything like that, because versus the sexy pick versus what you need to do for the team. Like I said, to hell with everybody. Nobody's really going to argue or criticize the Patriots for taking Will Campbell right there.
Yeah, it's just such a massive need.
That's what I'm saying. You can't criticize him for it.
It's just going to be like Twitter people just freaking out with the arm length, which, like, I get it, right? There are statistics with the arm length in, this history of football, but
he's at
Will Campbell is the best lineman in college football. He's been the best lineman in college football for years, right? This dude is a dog. Like, he's not a Peter Skoronski where he kind of came out of nowhere and, was a great offensive lineman. Like, he has been the best lineman in college football since basically he got into college football. Mm-hmm. And, right, he wore number 7, right, that whole badge at LSU where it's the best playmaker. Like, this dude he's a football player. This dude knows how to play fucking football. The arm length, like, we don't see guys like this. This dude is a monster.
Mm-hmm. And he has very good feet. So that's why I feel like his feet and his athletic ability. Is it that arm length thing? Like, because at his pro day, it's up at 33. So are we really going to sit here and tell me now that we know a guy's freaking arm length is an inch shorter than what we thought it was, we're going to pull back the curtain on him versus what we saw on tape? Oh, wait, he's missing some inches on his arm. Yeah, that guy, I don't know. And it's like, realistically, some of these people that's talking about arm length, like, this is the first time any of these guys have really brought this up. And you're never going to get a fact argument out of it. It's always going to be opinion, and opinion after opinion, because people got different views on how it can be utilized. At the end of the day, the game is getting smaller. Some of these edge rushers now are 6'1", 6'2", everything.
I would say Abdul Carter. He has short arms.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I'm pretty sure. And you want to know what? Now I'm gonna do it just because, just to put context on it. I'm gonna take my top 10 edge rushers and I'm gonna get their arm length on every one of them and average it out. To say these top 10 guys that they say are the top 10 guys, or we can even do the top 10 guys in the league. See how long their arms are. And you get down to the average, and I'm pretty sure the average is going to come around to where Will Campbell's arm length is at. It's probably, I'm going to take an educated guess. It's probably going to come somewhere around like 33. Because you don't see guys with 34 arms and 35-inch arms much like that, unless they're about, Will Campbell has a height, about his size. That's really what it is. You're expecting his arms to be longer because of his height and his weight.
Right.
That's what it really is. Like
Max Crosby, 32 and 7/8 inches. That's the same exact length that Campbell had. I think the only true number one defensive edge that has crazy arm length is Myles Garrett, and he's just an absolute
34, 35.
Max Crosby. I'm gonna look at TJ Watt because I feel like his is gonna be similar too. Yeah, he's 33 and 1/8. So we're talking about 2/8 of an inch.
Who, Garrett?
TJ Watt. So TJ Watt and Max Crosby both have arm lengths basically at 33, the same as Will Campbell. Right. I think it's getting kind of crazy out there. What's kind of going on, and also the Patriots coaches, right? They had that owners meeting or whatever, and a lot of them were talking about, arm length and saying that it's not about the length, it's about how you use it.
How long Micah's arms is? 31 and a half.
Right.
We're naming off the best edge rushers here.
That's the thing. Micah Parsons, he's an athletic freak. That's how he's able to kind of do it. Will Campbell's an absolute freak. Every statistical category in the combine, he was basically number one, or at least number two. Right, he's a monster. I think he has the athletic ability to overcome that kind of a discrepancy, if you will. Right. Dude is crazy. I don't know.
I'm gonna look at Chop Robinson's arms just because he's down there in Miami.
I was thinking because there's Joey Bosa, which
32 and a half,
or not Joey. Yeah, Joey Bosa. I mean, whatever, but 32 and a half.
See, look, they consider edge rushers with sub 33-inch arms to be smaller edge rushers, but we're going down the list. Virtually nearly every edge rusher has shorter arms because these guys aren't that big anymore. That's what I'm saying. Relative to, if we're going to update the football almanacs or whatever it is, we got to update it all the way. Just like how linebackers are faster now, the offensive line needs that same grace too, because it's not as power and strength no more. It's speed and finesse. So, look at the guy that played for the Rams last year. I think they said he had 32.5-inch arms. Think, I don't think it matters all that much. No, we're not talking about him missing 3 inches off his arm.
Right, he was 32 and 7/8. Right, an eighth of an inch.
How long? Come on, bro. Seriously.
Yeah, and if he's projected as a guard because he's obviously the short arms, but he's also very athletic.
Right.
So you're saying these edges are becoming more athletic, faster, quicker, more powerful. Mm-hmm. Will Campbell is that kind of a player. So he's kind of that new, he could be the new age tackle where he's faster, he's stronger, he can kind of cut a little bit easier. If they, do a spin move on him or whatever, and he can't get pushed down as easy. So I think it just makes all the sense in the world to get Will Campbell.
Keon White, 34-inch arms. This stuff isn't really that big of a deal.
And also, as a Patriots fan, hearing measurables should really kind of we should really not think about it. I mean, look at Tom Brady.
Right.
Like,
Thank
every
you.
measurable imaginable, he was horrible. He was
Brock
literally
Purdy.
the exact opposite of what you wanted.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy, exact opposite of a type of quarterback that you want. And look at him. Like the measurable thing. Devontae Smith.
Trey Hendrickson, 32-inch arms.
Right.
Like,
And he just led the league in sacks.
These is premier edge rushers. Like, give me another guy. Like, now it's just getting interested now. Like,
right. Fuck. Yeah, who's another
Nolan Smith. Let's see. Let's check.
Yeah, I would say Nolan Smith. Look at Carter.
32 and 5/8 inches. You said Carter?
Yeah.
Carter?
Jalen Carter.
Okay. But he's a DT, but we about to see.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he's still in that category.
Yeah. Arm length. 33 and a half. Like,
right. I mean,
like, so if they want to trip on Campbell, like, it's not even like a lot of these guys even got a full inch on him, let alone maybe 2/8 of an inch or whatever the case. Like, it's crap in this draft talk. We already know, and it's like half these people that's talking like the NFL don't have like this great track record for guys coming in and being successful all the time, especially the quarterback track record.
Right.
So we can talk about quarterback measurables just like how they're talking, oh, Shador doesn't possess this, and Cam Ward got this, and Cam Ward doesn't possess this, and Shador got this. These guys don't know. You feel me? You could be an NFL GM in front of you, could be selling you on this stuff. And then he puts them on the field, and then you be like, damn, dude, what happened? You feel me?
Right.
Like people don't know it, and that's why it's like to sit there and go down and nitpick like off of 1/8 of an inch. It just doesn't make sense. And if that's why they ended up bypassing him, because we want to draft the best player available. Well, guess what? The best player available is there, and you got a chance to move 2-3 spots back and know you could still get the guy that's going to be protecting Drake May over the net. Like, you have to get a left tackle on his rookie deal. You just have to get Campbell. You get a 5th-year option on him. Before him and Drake on rookie deals, Christian Gonzalez should be eligible for an extension next year. You can get him out of the way a little bit early. That way you can kick some money down the road. And if everything works out with Campbell and Drake, you pay them both.
Yeah, get Gonzo 32 next year. I don't care. 32. You just give it to him now.
Yeah.
Just get it over with.
Yeah.
Right? It fucking the guy from the Texans, right? He got the 30 mil, Derek Stingley.
Yeah, Derek Stingley. Yeah,
booty cooked, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But like if he's getting 30, just give Gonzo 32. Just do whatever you need to do to keep him on the team.
I feel like they're gonna have to, because if you looked at last year lockdown rates, it was I don't know the order per se, but I know it was Stingley, Surtain, Gonzo, and like Quinyon Mitchell, and I think Carlton Davis was somewhere up in there too, though. But his name is in that conversation. You can't.
Yeah, he'd be the best corner in the league in the next couple of years.
Yeah, up there with Pat Surtain, all that. Like, because it's like, if you look at Gonzo's game, a lot of it reminds you of Pat Surtain, because realistically, in the year that the Patriots was his bad team, everything, when Gonzo's healthy, he shows you he's the best player on that defense, hands down. By some of the interceptions that he make, even down the stretch. On offense, Drake May, you clearly saw that Drake May was the best player on offense. Christian Gonzalez was the best player on defense by far.
Yeah, right.
Marvin Harrison Jr., and we all know how great of a receiver he is, and hopefully, we get to see something better from him next year. But I don't know about Arizona's quarterback situation, but we know how good Marvin Harrison Jr. can be in the peak that he could potentially take in this league. Gonzo knocked him up and put him away.
Yeah.
He got after him.
And the Triple Crown winner, he held him to like 30 yards.
Diggs,
Like, Triple Crown winner. Like
Diggs is the only one that really gave him trouble last year that I saw.
Right. Yeah. No.
Diggs
no,
and Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, he gave it to Gonzo. But you know,
and those guys are like top of their game. Those are the best players in the league. Right.
Yeah, they got some. Those are some good receivers, but Gonzo, people know, and that's what I'm saying. Well, how did he fall to the 17th pick in the draft? And then they took Emmanuel Forbes ahead of him, Devon Witherspoon. Why? Because they didn't feel like he had the intensity on game day.
Yeah, it was the mindset part of it.
Like, come on, like that's what I'm saying. But these is the people making these picks. But then you go back and you start looking again, and there's a lot of guys that been missed in certain drafts. And just like how we got into it last time about how much an edge rusher really impacts the game. These little nitpicky arguments, I feel like that's what makes bad teams bad and teams get off course because they end up talking themselves out of something.
Yeah. And also
they dig themselves back out.
A lot of it's the media just like trying to create stories because there's nothing going on. Like every year, when you look at the first mock drafts, you know, like a Daniel Jeremiah, like those kind of guys, the first mock draft, that's usually the most accurate. Because that's like right after the season ends, right? That's when scouting's done. Scouting's done by then. People have pretty much made their decision by then, right? There's maybe a toss up between one or two players, but usually by then,
they need the coaches to start taking a look now. Once the season, that's when the coaches get involved. You know, during the season, they're probably not watching no tape. So now, you know what I mean? The scouts are probably done with their stuff, but like, now the coach is putting his input.
Right, with like the top 5 picks, right? Once the Super Bowl is done, right, all those teams in the top 5, their coaches have already been looking at stuff.
Right, yeah.
So like by the time the first mock draft comes out, that's usually the most accurate. Because usually like the first stories that come out, like right, for us, the first thing that was really coming out was Will Campbell. That seemed to be kind of the biggest thing. So I think that's going to end up being what's going to happen. It's usually the first mock drafts or so. And then, right, because now, like this past week, the hottest thing was Ashton Genty going to the Patriots, coming out of nowhere. Now everyone's saying that he's going to go to the Patriots.
If they did that, I would fucking riot.
I'd be so love Ashton Genty.
Like,
no, like we are not ready for that.
I'm gonna tell you no. I'm gonna say no. I don't care if we had the 20th pick. I would say no, not the pick.
If we had the 2nd and 3rd pick and the 4th pick, and we got Will Campbell, Travis Hunter, and then Ashton Genty, sure.
I don't.
You know what I mean? Like
the reason why I would stay away from Genty is just based off of you can look at his amount of carries in college, but just look at it last year alone. Usually running backs that carry the ball at high volume like that, and he does not have a big stature. They come into the league and they decline. Melvin Gordon did the same thing. Actually ran for more yards than Ashton Genty in the season. What did he do when he came into the league?
Started off high and then crumbled.
Ezekiel Elliott. He crumbled every year to the point. Todd Gurley.
I would say Todd Gurley's probably the best example.
Like these guys, they because the tread on the tires is so crazy. You're talking about a 5'9", 205-pound running back. Not saying that he's not good, but I'm not investing the future of the team in that running back who could potentially, by the last year on his contract, not be here anymore. You know, we can't compare everybody to Saquon Barkley. He's clearly an outlier, and he's Saquon Barkley for a reason.
And the Eagles have the best offensive line. Like, they were made to house a incredible running back.
Right. Him and Derrick Henry are just two different type of guys. Derrick Henry has the body and, the endurance to sustain a long career at that position.
Yeah, he's a freak.
So comfortable paying him because he's
probably going to be the only running back for the next 10 years to rush for 10,000 yards. No one else is even close.
Yeah, he's an ox. He has the body frame that's built for that. Now, these smaller stature guys, and especially, him running through the hole, getting plugged, getting hit, like, it's going to get tired of that real soon. And especially now that this is the pros, we see what it looked like versus Penn State. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not taking anything away from Genty, but he has a high number of carries. More like literally, bro. I was just doing my scouting guide. I could tell you how many times he carried the ball right now. Ashton Genty has carried the ball in his college career.
Yeah, we're just not ready. We're not built for a running back. That's like the last thing that we need.
Okay, so Ashton Genty has
such a deep class, like
750 carries.
Yeah,
in his career, he carried the ball 374 times last year. 220 times the year before, and 156 the year before that.
Yeah,
that's
so
a high number, like
every single time. Yeah.
Bro, there's nobody even coming close by even like 130 carries like that. Like he has a high number of carries. That's a lot of, and that's not even counting. Maybe he doesn't get much production passing the ball, but that's what I'm saying. Those running backs usually the tread on the tire is dangerous, man. It's dangerous.
He's not the. Obviously, we don't need a running back, but he's also not the running back that we need. We need like a passing, someone that to be able to play with Mondre to kind of complement him well. Like Ashton Genty is Mondre. Like they're the same type of running back.
Except for Mondre's bigger. Well, Mondre actually has the frame to, Ashton Genty, like I say, 5'8", 5'9".
Right.
Like they need them bringing in a running back. They need that speed element. Where Ramondre, you can let him pound between the tackles when you want to go to your gap runs and get you a one-cut guy that can, take it to the house on those zone runs. Look at Detroit. We gave them crap for picking Jahmyr Gibbs, and then it's like, look how it looks now. He's a dynamic weapon in every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
You feel me? Then they're using David Montgomery, so they hit you with thunder and lightning. And they actually got the offensive line to be versatile.
They have the offensive line before. Like they were built to get a running back.
They got the infrastructure. That's what I'm saying. You put Campbell on that line. You brought in Morgan Moses, Michael Wenu at right guard. We'll see what the guy from Minnesota, if he's a pretty good center. I think Cole Strange is going to come back next year fine. So you would have a competent offensive line there. Okay, now you brought Stephon Diggs into the wide receiver. We know what Drake May is. Ramondre, I feel like it's going to take a lot of pressure off of him now, too, with other playmakers being in the offense, where we're not looking for Ramondre to be the guy that tries to lift us up or something like that. Everybody can fall into their roles. As I said, and if you somehow end up winning 8 or 9 games next year, that's a success.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
success because you're going in the right direction.
Yeah,
but as I said, I'm on the Will Campbell train. I got offered a little bit, but then again, like I said, I'm not going to be a fraud. Like some people, I ain't in on the arm length argument all like that, and I can't even claim to be an expert to even say that they shouldn't take him because of that. I'm going off of information that's being put out there, but at the end of the day,
and also I just want to put out there, like we're not like anti Travis Hunter. Like if Travis Hunter's there and we take him, I'm not upset. Right. Like, I understand because
I love Travis Hunter.
Right. That's the thing. It's like I understand, but I would be a little upset if we find out that we drafted Hunter, but there was a future first round pick on the table for another top 10 team or like a top 10 pick.
That's what I'm saying. Think about
then I'd be a little upset because then it's like I feel like that's better.
Think about the team. Like in that situation, like I said, if you know for sure you need Campbell and like how we all said, there's a difference between wants and needs. Hunter and Carter are wants. Campbell's a need. You understand what I'm saying? Campbell's a need because you can make the argument that you guys filled the cornerback position and you went out there and paid a wide receiver. So Why are you trying to go after him? Oh, yeah, we need 2 receivers. I'm just being a dickhead right now about the argument, but we can make the argument to say that, yeah, you already brought that in. You brought in a corner, you brought in a receiver. Okay, and you signed some new edges, and we expect a big year from Keon White. You guys haven't signed anybody on the left side of the line.
Right. That's the thing. It's like the guard position is also kind of open. Right.
I think Cole Strange would be all right there. Like, I honestly think
it sounds like he might be going for center though. So that's the other thing. It's like, what is he really going to be going in as? Is he going to be the center, or is he going to?
I think Vrabel spoke on that. I think he said
I thought he said center.
Guard. Center.
No? Okay.
So? I could be wrong. I got to check it again.
But still, I mean, like, yeah, maybe Cole Strange will be the guard, but like that's still not like we still don't really know.
Right. You need the left tackle, and he's athletically gifted. If you look at Cole Strange's combine, it's easy to see why build. Like, it ain't just come from out of nowhere. Like, literally, like, Cole Strange is athletically, he's one of the top guards in the league. Like, you want to go athleticism-wise. So, like I said, and then if you get Campbell over there, these guys make the job easier for the other guy because he has a good guy next to him. They can translate to each other. They know how to play. They got competency. And like I said, you would have a potential Pro Bowl left tackle on a rookie deal. And a potential, obviously, well, not even potential. You have a Pro Bowl quarterback who made the Pro Bowl his rookie season. And you have them on rookie deals. You want to get back into the playoffs and win games and things like that. Our arrow needs to be pointing up when other teams are coming back down. Miami, they're coming back down. Buffalo, as long as Josh Allen there, we already know they're going to be a threat. But, we can put up more resistance against them. You feel what I'm saying? The Jets, they're loaded with talent, but they can't get their quarterback position right. And they have no offensive line.
Right.
So, I can see that being blown up pretty soon. Garrett Wilson and Sauce. I don't see Garrett Wilson and Sauce staying there after this season.
If Justin Fields does really, really, really bad, I see Garrett leaving
because they're going to try to trade him to get up for a quarterback.
They both have come out and said they want to stay and they want to do extensions and stuff, but I think they're just saying it, to be honest. Especially Sauce.
But what happens? What happens if Justin Fields sucks, right? But they have a roster that's just so good that it was the 8 or 9 games, right?
Well, it'd be like the Steelers.
They're going to have to trade somebody to get up to the top of the draft. So which one are you choosing? Because you already know anybody that's going to come for anything that's on that Jets roster, and you want a first-round pick to pick a quarterback at the top of the draft, the first 2 choices, one of them has to come with me. I'm sorry. Like, one of them has to come.
Right. Yeah.
One of those guys got to come with me. Yeah. Like, so, it's just interesting. But like I said, I'm on the Campbell train. Yep. They take Campbell. I'll be happy with it. And, 38, bring in a younger edge. Jada Higgins, possibly. Or, like I said, even if they want to wait to address the wide receiver position in the 3rd or 4th round, whatever. Because at this point, it is what it is. And the wide receiver room is crowded. It's crowded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out who's on their way out. Like, I'm pretty sure Bourne's at the top of that list, but what about Pop? What about Booty? But you guys got to work Polk-in. And what about Baker? We didn't even really get a chance to see him. So now that Joe Mixon is out the door, we're about to see what happens next. Honestly, I'll just trade Polk.
I mean, who wants him, though? Like, who's going to?
Somebody going to take him for like a 6 or a 7, but that'd just be a slap in the face just to, like, take him in the 2nd round.
Right. Yeah, I feel like you just got to try. You got to try playing him in the game.
That's what I'm saying. Like, somebody, but I feel like for some reason the inkling in me has it that Jalen Polk is going to have a good year because he had moments early in the season, but it's like once he just went bad, it just went completely bad. I don't know if they phased him out of the offense or what. AVP was just a terrible hire, just a terrible hire.
Yeah.
It was no development in the offense at all, and it's just like the coaches were coming to the like podium blaming players, and the players blaming the coaches. Like,
Right. Yeah.
crazy, man. So that's where a lot of my attention is going to be, honestly, and I feel like that's going to be the hot take going in the training camp is the battle in that wide receiver room. I feel like running back, everybody else got spots that they can split and share. Offensive line, whoever those first five are, they're going to get solidified. But that wide receiver position, it's gonna stir up. So like I said, we know who the DTs are going to be. We know who the edges are going to be. You know?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yep.
So we'll see.
All right. Well, it was nice talking to you.
All right, bro. See you next week.
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. It's right now we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good enough?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
What is your responsibility?
Well, I mean, I'm just asking, do you think you've done enough to help Tom Brady?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati. Stupid thing.